Gotcha. I know that feeling. Hello, everyone. My name is JD Calderon, and this is Indie Comics Explained. And yet again, I've brought on another fantastic group of independent comic book creators. And this is a show called Of Mice and
Of Wolves. Woo! This is the comic book workshop show where we bring on some guests who might be having issues in the comic book industry, and then we kind of workshop through the issue and give them our advice and kind of talk shop. So without further ado, let's start bringing in our guests.
All right, cool. What's up, David? So please introduce yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm David Starr, David F. Starr on all the social medias. My son and I are working on a comic book together, and it's actually a metal band. So on iTunes, all streaming, it's Metal Lord. And on Instagram, it's MetalLord_art. But we've been working on this project for a few years now. And it's like Gorillas meets Metalocalypse kind of vibes. Yeah.
Cool.
Digging it.
Yeah.
I love that, David. That's awesome. Hi, everybody. I'm Jayel Draco, co-founder of Oneshi Press. Jayel Draco on all the socials and Oneshi Press on all the socials. Currently have Bloom Squad Live. It's our first time publishing a book from another creator. This one I did not write or illustrate, and so that's exciting. We'll definitely be talking about that.
All right, nice.
What's up, everybody? I'm Sam the Crazy Man Vera, host of Catch the Craze podcast, and I am the creator of my graphic novel, Forbidden, The Scroll of Nokron, Death Comes with Light. Currently, the landing page is on Kickstarter, and we launch next month. It's a 200-page graphic novel fantasy series.
Very nice.
Cool.
Hefty.
When are you launching next month?
I'm launching either. I'm debating the date, so it's either going to be on the 16th, which is the same day of our 600th episode for Catch the Craze podcast.
Nice.
Or it'll be right after the October 16th around there, second week of October. So it's either second week of September or second week of October. I'm not sure yet.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. So usually we go in clockwise order. So David, since you are to my, I guess, left on the left on the screen. I'm trying to figure out let's start with you, sir, and work our way around.
Absolutely. So with this launch, we've been working on the project and really focused on the music aspect of it. This is something that we had wanted to do for, like I said, I think it's been about 5 years that we've been working on this project. During that time, I was launching another Kickstarter project that was a long scope. It was a fine art book and an ABC project. So I had a lot of time, got into a comics launch, and they taught a lot about like the foundation of building an audience. And then I've been working on using those aspects, ended up using it with my wife to launch a DVD project. And then also we wanted to launch this comic. And as I was working on it, I'm like, oh, we got Comic-Con. We got Long Beach Comic-Con and LA Comic-Con coming up. I'm like, now's the perfect time to kind of do this. I'm like, should we launch a comic book? And because we've been doing it as a webtoon for quite a while. And Tav's he's always game for whatever, but this is also his senior year of high school, and we're like, well, now it's time for you to figure out how to make money from this stuff too. It's also time for me to figure out how to make money from this stuff as well. But I really wanted to have him do that. I've showed artwork professionally before, so I do that's an oil painting over my shoulder. So I've done that sort of stuff, but this is such a cool project. I wanted to work on this with him. The kicker is that I was like, oh, I really didn't give myself time to build up and warm up the audience. So that was a real tricky aspect of this, because I'm like, oh, I got to go right now. We should start putting this together. So, slam through getting the project together. I'd already kind of ideation on what we could do for tiers and rewards. We're going to get a record pressed for it. His music's exceptional sounding. Like, it's really professional. So it's been really fun to see him flourish, as that's what we focused on. But I've kind of relied on muscle memory and the excitement of like, hey, I could maybe do this and present it during these Comic-Con conventions. and utilize that as the way to market into that. I've got friends that, in local comic book shops, and we've done a few cons before, but I haven't warmed that audience to this project. So that's my big thing, is like, how do you fast track warming it or have events to kind of push to Kickstarters? That was the main thing that I'm kind of trying to grapple with on this project.
Okay. Does anybody have any clarification questions? Jayel?
So, David, when you talk about your audience that you have not warmed up yet to this project, do you have like a mailing list or a Discord and places where you can directly reach your audience? Sorry.
That's good. Yeah, absolutely. So I have the list from the first project, AZ Baby Animals Plus Scientists. So that was like a big project. A lot of those folks were people that I knew, growing up and stuff like that. So I think they would be also excited about this kind of idea. And then there's some that were just really encouraged by the science and the art, which may or may not fit. So I was going to just utilize that list. And then Gustav had been working on a Discord platform. He's 17 years old, so loves being on the internet. So that was his main job, is to cultivate that. So we have a warm audience there, and then just all the network of family and friends I'm confident we'll be able to hit the funding on this, but I'd really love to see it, elevate beyond that. This project seems really uniquely interesting to me. I really liked this idea that we came up with.
Great idea.
Okay. Sam, do you have any questions?
You're Sam, you're muted. You're muted, Sam.
Yeah, I'm trying to get a feel for how this goes. I just realized how this is playing out. JD didn't give me you didn't give me any rules, so I'll start forming questions as we go.
JD doesn't follow the rules either.
I don't follow the rules. No,
I feel like I'm on a game show.
we have had 22 prior episodes, and you could have peeped. I'm just saying.
and your partner has been on one.
Has he? Yeah, he didn't tell me either.
He set you up.
Yeah,
he was like, yeah, go on.
Yeah, I'm a slow starter. Once I get to a rhythm, I'm good.
Fair. Yeah, any clarifying questions for David?
Oh, yes. Okay, so I mean, have you started? Do you have a Substack that you have your mailing list through?
No, it's just MailChimp. Have a list through it. So yeah, I've got a good amount of we got 500, and then my wife has a large list too for different groups of people. So I'll definitely blast it off to all the folks we have there and all the folks that we've built up on social media. Obviously, those numbers are a little tougher to hit, but for the Discord channel and for those, and then other communities that we've been involved with that are just supportive online communities that might adjacently be able to support it. So that's definitely where I'll execute on all of those sort of lists for it. Just basically, if you didn't build up, an audience, like that's where I've been priming. The first time I really worked on that, really thought through all that stuff. And this time it's like, you know what, this is a good idea. I got to go now. I'm just going to let's load the shotgun and let's rock and roll, and so that's kind of where it's at for it. Obviously it's like I should start emailing the list, but I wanted the page because I just got the page approved on Sunday night. So I've been finishing that off and making sure I get my stuff together and get it ready to launch for it.
Fair enough.
Okay.
George, did you have a question? I mean, Sam, excuse me.
Wow.
He called me George, sucker.
He did.
I looked at this and I said George instead of Sam.
No, I think you said various communities. Why that approach and not really cultivate a comic book community, which is more, there's the higher success rate there?
Yeah, for sure. It's just because of how the other projects had went beforehand. So we had in that first project was looking for, it was like authors and stuff like that, like, or people that would be interested in children's books, and then also the groups of people like that my wife had worked with on there. A lot of those are supporting kind of groups. I have worked with comic book creators and have like a closer like friend network in the area of that, but I haven't really cultivated trying to get an email list from them, just because the project we had been working on music and trying to make that, and that kind of became the focus. And like I said, I was like, oh, we should really just turn this into a comic book Kickstarter. We should really print this. And we went on a group chat with Comics Launch, and I was talking about us making zines. So I've been printing out zines, and we give them out at like concerts and shows, like local shows. And then he's kind of was like, oh, why don't you just make a comic book? I was just like, yeah, I guess it's kind of obvious.
Okay.
And now you're screwed. No.
Yeah, that's where it's like I'm looking at it, like, hey, I'm going to present myself in front of the two biggest markets I can in this area. That I already had tables. We were ready to, we're going to be in the artist alley for those. So I'm like, well, I'll be direct, salesman on the ground kind of thing. It was my vibe. It's like, all right, let's just rock and roll in person.
Clarification question.
Yeah.
Are the zines related to the comic?
Oh yeah. Yeah. They absolutely,
cool. They're something you give out?
Yeah, for sure.
That's
and I always do
awesome.
it. Like, that's where I cultivate a lot of stuff. So I always keep a little in my backpack, a little
Sick.
binder of the zines for it. So they have like the artwork, from the painting behind there, and then they're just small little zines of the story. So they're just condensed versions of that story. This one was all inked. I did it all on one sheet as a unique zine to try to make it extra kind of punk rocky.
Wow.
And have that. And then other ones that we had done were just other chapters from like the webtoon. And we take screenshots and stuff like that and just stuck them in there. So we have a bunch of artwork done for it and a ton of chapters like ready to go. I just have to drop that in. So that's part of the Kickstarter, is like, it's artwork's almost all done, reformat it for it. But it's just then cultivating that audience. It's like, how do I convert that? And is there any tips, kind of like mindset of selling or pitching a Kickstarter during a con convention, or a con? That's kind of the idea that I'm kind of dealing with here. And I figure it's a goal that I feel like just with the people that I know, just texting and stuff like that, I probably could hit this. So I'm like, okay, but like, I'd rather use it as outreach for getting people excited about the music that wouldn't necessarily know, and then people that are interested in the music that would be excited about the comic book, and allow those two to kind of help each other.
So I have two questions. One popped up during that last little segment. One, with the zines that you're handing out, do you have like a website or your email list or a way for them to get in on that? Because if they're getting like the actual comic then later, like, this is actually a really great idea to like get them kind of like into it at first. So as long as you have that on there. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I always have all the contact info for it. We have his website, and then our socials for it. We drive it through my son's site, through gustavstarr.com. And that's the one that we like to, I try to utilize for that. My website was more based on the art. We didn't make a unique metal or like a comic book page for it. So that was something that I just, because I didn't know where the music ended and the art project kind of tied together. So it's been a bond between us, and he has had a YouTube channel since he was little. We used to make stop motions and stuff. So it's kind of a fun continuation of that. So we've been just plugging it on his YouTube channel.
Okay. The other question I had was, since you are part of the Comics Launch community, have you talked to any other creators about potentially like promoting each other through each other's mailing lists? Because like right now, your campaign's not live, but you can be like, hey, here's my snippet or whatever. So if you haven't reached out to them, that's something.
Yeah, I've heard of that technique before for it. I haven't done it. Like I said, I've just dived in, and I'm like, okay, I got to see who's launching now to see whose mailing list might be relevant to be able to help, and whose projects might help be synergistic with.
Yeah, I think I have a couple I can give you when we get to the answer section.
Perfect.
All right, cool.
All right. So, do we have any more questions before we jump on in?
You know, Rob, we only have answers on this question on this show, damn it. Just answers.
I'm champing at the bit. I got so much to say.
Oh, you said that so right too.
So we have his answers.
All right.
Only champing here, no chomping.
There you go.
Sam, how about you go first? You have
All
any
right.
advice?
Advice?
Answers, whatever that might help him out with getting this thing going with warming up an audience.
I think the Vine idea is a great idea. I think things for people to walk away with and remember you by is always critical. It's one of the things I do. I always give out free trading cards with my QR codes. It's a bounce back, right? Because they might not in the moment be interested at the moment, but they'll go to your website to do some research. Next, you have a follower, you have a purchase, those kind of things. So it's that bounce back in retail we talk about, right? So I think that's good. I think you're being creative. I think leveraging different markets, different groups is smart because you never know, and that person can influence another person, and it becomes a domino effect. So no, I think you're doing a lot of creative stuff. I think you have the same kind of concerns and apprehensions all of us do, right? And is it working? Is it good enough? Am I doing enough, right? But I think you're building something. No, I thought it was pretty solid.
Yeah, I'm tying into that just so I give a little more background idea of it. Also, we made a lot of stickers like for different projects and stuff like that for that are often the art for songs and things. We're going to offer those a lot of these as free kind of giveaways for. I thought it was kind of a novel idea to post a comment on the YouTube page of one of the videos. Nice. So if they post a comment on the video of one of the pages, like give it a listen, or if they subscribe or give the email list, or put on the email list, they get zine for free or something like that, and have basically a bunch of free stuff that's just kind of pushing towards that, and then maybe a small thing to sell. But basically, I was just using that table as a marketing campaign for the project was the idea.
Nice.
All right, cool. Jayel, do you want to jump in there? You were chomping or champing?
Champing. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm going to make an analogy here. I'm going to say that your zines as like free giveaways, they are great bait, right? Now, let's say you walk up to the side of a pond and you see fish down there and you just start throwing bait in the water. That's great. Those fish are eating. They're going to be really happy. Yay. You need to hook them.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have a hook, you're just throwing bait at fish, So one way to hook them is to include on every zine someplace simple, either a QR code or a really easy link, a bit.ly, a pretty link, something like that, where go here to get the rest for free.
Mm.
And when they sign up to your mailing list, they get digital downloads of all of your zines, one after the other in a welcome journey, right? And each part of that journey, you explain a little bit more about yourself, about your projects, about why you're doing this, about who you are. Because people also don't want to just support a cool project. They want to know who they're supporting and why they're doing this. Your passion is going to translate to their passion, right? The more they know about you and why you're doing this and why you love this project and how you got into it, the more hooked they're going to be. They can't get there if there's not a simple, single link. Like somebody sees your Instagram on your zine and follows your Instagram. I mean, now it's up to the gods of the algorithms whether or not you even show up in their feed. And even if you do show up in their feed, you might get a like, but that doesn't help you.
Mm-hmm.
You need them on your mailing list where you can net them. So now they're on your mailing list and you're appearing in their inbox where they asked for you to appear, and you're giving them free stuff that they want. Now they're hooked. Now you can say, by the way, I want to tell you I've got this awesome project I'm so excited about on Kickstarter right now for a limited time. You know, it can only happen if you go and get it, right? So that's netting them after they've been hooked based on the bait you've given them. So at a con, that's a really hard thing to get someone to promise to remember after you launch to go check out your Kickstarter. It's not going to happen. But if they have that zine in their hand and they go home and they're reading that zine, and then they see they can get more free stuff just by following this link, they're going to follow that link. If they do, they're going to be on your mailing list. Then you can tell them all of the things along the way to really warm them up till they're cooking. Then you tell them about your Kickstarter and they're already there, right? So it's a little roundabout, but you're just making sure when you throw that bait in the water that there's a sharp hook on it, you know?
Yeah. No, it's really good. Yeah, that's a really smart take, and utilizing the tools that you know and actually put it into practice. So that's good to have it. Just
I mean, you already have a mailing list,
yeah.
a MailChimp mailing list growing. Like,
yep.
You got all the tools. It's just a matter of connecting the dots. That's it.
Yep.
Yeah, and if you don't have the welcome series, it's just a matter of putting it in place. Like MailChimp has a very good setup for that.
Okay.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, I wrote that down. I was like,
oh,
that's a good idea. I was like,
That was well articulated. That was nicely done for it.
Well, that's what we're here for.
Yeah.
To kind of reiterate though, like the QR code, if you don't have like an actual direct link to the mailing list, like a landing page, I would definitely suggest to set one up. And then you can have QR codes printed on like stickers that you can just slap on the back of those so that
people on everything.
And then kind of playing towards being at the con, handing these things out, explain that like this QR code will take you to get a bunch more freebies. This is just a taste. You can get the whole kit and caboodle. Go here, sign up for the list. Or you make that hell. They even have them scan it right there while they're in front of you.
Yeah.
Because that doesn't take much if you just go like, oh, boom, okay.
Yeah, you don't want it to go into this sack of swag where there's 500 other postcards and stickers.
Yeah, because that's gonna happen. There's no doubt gonna happen.
Yeah, you got to get them to scan it right then and there.
Yeah, walking past the trash and you see them in the trash and you're like,
oh, no.
So, but that was
the worst
else
part in the urinal.
People just get option overload and fatigue, at cons. It's a lot.
It's a really good point for it, and that's the other thing that I wanted to offer up was to do, like I said, some I've done like live drawings before, like that. Offer that up to folks that actually back while they're there. You get a free like portrait or something like that, because I've been doing those at concerts and shows. I've been doing band drawings and posting those on the media and stuff like that. So try to crank those out, and
that would get
us an option for support. And get people anything you can do that, but I really like the idea, not just the attention. I love the bait. You're throwing bait in the pond and they're all circling, but you can't reel them in. So it's a really great analogy.
Yeah. Cool. All right. Rob, you want to go first or you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
All right. So it's funny because I don't do many cons these days. I've done a lot of them in the past, but I haven't done many recently. But as far as ideas for if you're at a show and you're pitching a Kickstarter, right? I put a little bit of thought into it, not too much, but a little bit. So there's a few things I think you could do or that can be done. One, you can obviously have a cheap tablet where they can sign up for whether it be your mailing list, or it'll go directly to the Kickstarter and they can sign up there. Or another thing you can have is a QR code, right? That where you can change the address to it. Okay. So the QR code, like for this campaign, you can say, well, listen, David Starr is having, this is David Starr's QR code. You click on it, it goes to your campaign now, but then this campaign ends and you can change it so it'll go to your next campaign, right? That QR code is going to be variable, right? The other thing was if you're at a show and you're talking to a person and they're interested in possibly backing the campaign while they're at the show, because I've backed plenty on my phone. You can say, listen, and you have those little, you do your little mini comics. I would advise leaving the back page empty and say, listen, man, you back that campaign. I'll do a little mini sketch for you right here. Draw a little word balloon, boom. You'll get this. This is a one of a kind just for you. Right. And that's going to be a thank you for backing my campaign here and now. Right. And you could try something like that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of little clever little things you could try. The QR code. I'm a huge fan of that. Trading. I'm a huge fan of trading cards. So that's where I put my that's where I put my QR codes on, because I always feel bookmarks. I got like 10,000 of them. Now I throw them away, or I just leave them in the book that they came with, right? And it stays in that book. It is like I read the book, it stays in that book and on the shelf. I never see that bookmark ever again. But trading cards, I actually collect, and I know other people collect, and I put them in binders, and I have like a binder full of just indie trading cards. So, so just food for thought.
No, those are great. Absolutely. Yeah, it's a great tie-in to both of you guys, like the tying that in. I thought, okay, they could, if people, I didn't know if I should sell, because we're going to have a collection of 5 of these stories of the zines that they could get, and that might be something that we would sell. But maybe it's something that if they back, or if they back at some point or give an email, like that's what I wanted to drive to, was use that as those to drive to getting the email address. I've always been told, like, from Comic Watch, is you just ask for their email. You don't ask them to log in and do it. You do it for them. But but that's,
I mean, it kind of depends. Like, so for example, like what I do at my cons, I run the spiel. Once they're in the process of buying, I say, hey, would you like me to sign your book? While I'm signing your book, would you like to sign up for the email list? And then I hand them my tablet where they enter their information, and it automatically goes into my list. So while I'm doing them a favor, they're doing me a favor, and they're already bought something. So they're
interested.
Yes.
That's really good. I like that. Go ahead.
I was just going to ask, for your zines, is it one specific zine that you're going to be giving out at the con? Like,
I was going to have 5. Obviously, I printed more of the first one. That's the main one. That's the one that starts off, and obviously the one that would make the most sense for anyone just starting on it. But I was going to try to have, I was going to have 5 of them done. And they're.
I was just going to say, maybe if you had like one version of it with a blank cover, then you can, for the people that do back on the spot, draw the cover.
There.
Yes,
I ended up having 2 for the
sketch covers are a big thing, at cons.
Yeah. That's a good point. I hadn't really thought of like doing it on there, because that's where I was like, oh, give people the drawing. Like I have this interesting thing where I came from fine art, and the comic book culture is still something that I've always felt like I'm adjacent to. So, but like the idea of drawing on a comic book, I'm like, oh, I'd rather just have a drawing and then not have the comic book. Why would you want to put both together? Like, and then it's like, no,
really big thing at cons, sketch covers.
Yeah. And some people will just buy the sketch cover and not even open the book. I mean, that's
seriously
right. Yeah, and so that's something that's helpful, because that's where I had with it. But that's where I was like, oh, I thought maybe this would be a special edition. Originally, I'd done this because I was like, oh, I like the ink work on it looks super dope, because it was tiny. It was a pain in the ass to draw. But like I was like, oh, this will be a special edition. I'll put the actual album art cover on there. And then everyone's like, just because I have a nice printer at work, they're all like, oh my gosh, that looks so good. And I was like, oh, maybe I should just print off the ones with the color. And I seem to grab their attention more. But I like the idea of having an empty page, and then you could draw right on it and have it be a drawable cover, or make them their own unique cover on it.
Just make sure though that the paper's thick enough that it doesn't bleed through into that's the other thing. Or have a card underneath that catches it.
Test whatever implements,
whatever setup.
Yeah. But if you just made like a special edition just for backers, and like the only way to get it is by backing, and you give it to them on the spot, that's pretty freaking sweet. people love exclusive things like that. I mean, I know I do.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like if I could get this exclusive sketch cover and the only way to get it is to back right now, that might just be enough to tip me over the edge and back right now, you know.
Just make sure that it's not an expensive cost to you, because if you're giving that away, there is the opportunity for them to cancel. So they could be just walking away with that. So, you know, I wouldn't make it like something valuable.
I mean, you said you print them at work, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, the sketch.
They don't know that.
I do bring my own paper in. I'm the manager there, so I keep it on there, right? I just buy my own sets of paper. They do cover the ink.
I mean, it's the original art that they're going for, you know, not the paper cost, right? As long as you're saving money on the paper cost and you can, you know, without hurting yourself, bust out a few drawings, cool, you know? And you figure, if like 20 people sign up and one of them cancels their pledge and gets away with a zine, you know, that's that person's karma. Screw it. Like, let them be a dick. The rest of the people that backed you are going to be backers that now you can get on your next campaign and the campaign after that. And they're worth, I promise you, those 19 people are worth the one person who ripped you off. You know, I promise. Like, definitely 19 new members of your audience is worth one person being a jerk, you know? Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And don't take it to heart, because it happens all the time.
Yeah.
The people that I was going to tell you about the comics launch, Matt Knowles and Steph Cannon, they are, you know, have a band situation plus a comic book situation. So the synergy there is kind of nice. As well as I mean, I used to be in a band, though I don't have that situation now. That's been.
Is this on YouTube?
Yes.
Can we watch you rocking out? Do you howl like a wolf on stage, Rob? We have to know. We have to know.
It's the band was called Crimson Dawn, and there was no wolves involved. However, the band was named after one of my other comic book characters that I happen to be. Fun side story. I was drawing the logo, and like we were trying to come up with band names, and I just like I pulled it up and was like, "Hey, what about this?" So I tricked them into naming the band after my comic book character.
That's awesome.
Nice. That's pretty dope.
But yeah, I mean, so like I know the you know the music world and the comic book world. I have a bit wide audience I'd be happy to share with. You had mentioned that you have a children's book author audience that you've kind of, which if you want to scratch my back there, I have a kid's book as well. If you want to share that out, I'll be glad to share. You know, this is what I'm talking about. The kind of cross promotional things that we can all do for each other to help spread each other's books. You know, that's what the power of being in a community.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. No, that's super great. Yeah, absolutely. Would be down for that. For sure. Yeah. The A to Z, I always never leave a copy here. I have one at my desk at work because I always tell people about it or whatever, but it's a pretty dope book. Like it was all paintings, oil paintings, A to Z, baby animals plus scientists. So, nice. And I got it hardcover foil print. I wanted it high end. I wanted this to be the most high end ABC book.
Nice. JL, speaking of the band, though, if you ever watched one of my Nightwolf videos, it's one of my band songs in the background.
Oh, awesome. I love that.
Of course you have to do that.
Super cool. Yeah, you have to. That's like, you're legally required to do that.
I used to give out tracks, too, like as a digital bonus.
That's great. Why don't you?
Well, I stopped because like we ran out of the ones that I liked the most, and I was like, I'm not sending the other ones.
All right. So, David, I hope that helped.
Absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Those are all really great tips. Getting able to take away from each one of those. I'm going to re-listen to this too because I didn't take notes, but I remembered a lot of it.
It'll be on YouTube, so you can rewatch it anytime.
Exactly.
Definitely.
Perfect.
The replay.
So, Jayel, what's your question?
Well, all right. So, in a nutshell, you know, we started Oneshi Press because it was really hard to get our own work published, and we built our brand around our projects. One of those projects included an open call anthology, specifically to help other people. You know, we wanted to give the help that we didn't get, right? Like, be the good you want to see in the world, right?
Mhm.
And the anthologies, we're working now. We have open calls on our 15th anthology. They're going really well. Each one is beefier and more beautiful and, you know, just higher quality than the last. And they're doing good on Kickstarter. But now we've taken this project Bloom Squad, which was broken up into 8-page chapters over the last 6 anthologies, black and white. I did not write or illustrate Bloom Squad. I just published it. And, you know, I did help facilitate a little bit, but we had it collected and colored as a trade paperback. And we put that up on Kickstarter. This is the first time that we're publishing someone else's work in full, you know, outside of our anthologies. And even in our anthologies, I always have several comics in there that I either wrote or illustrated or both, you know. So this is a book that I neither wrote nor illustrated, and Lindsay neither wrote nor illustrated. And so the challenge here is getting our audience to feel confident that if Oneshi is publishing it, it is Oneshi. And if you like Oneshi books, you will like this book. And getting that, the trust and faith that our audience has in us whenever we come out with a new project. They're like, yeah, cool, you guys have this new comic. I want to read that, you know. Now it's like, okay, we have this new comic, but the names attached are not ours. You know, we're just the publisher, the editor, the layout, you know.
Well, I mean,
So,
your name is technically on it then, right?
well, yes, yeah. I mean, as the co-founder of Oneshi Press, and, you know, I did put together the book, etc. But, you know, it's not my drawings, it's not my writing. But I wouldn't be putting this on Kickstarter if it wasn't something that felt, you know, like me. You know, this is something I want to publish, right? I've been very, very picky about that. But the trick is, how do I find a way without shoehorning it in to communicate that clearly to our audience, you know? Or maybe that's a non-issue. I mean, I know a lot of people are like, oh, my Kickstarter's struggling right now. Like, I don't want to fall into like, it's always hard, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are always getting successful, even when it's hard. I don't ever want to think about the climate. I just want to think about my project and how to give that its, you know, best finish as possible, right?
Okay.
All right.
Does anybody have any questions for JL before we move on?
Yeah, I maybe have a couple.
Good.
So, in starting it out, how far in advance did you start talking about it to your fans, to your regular fan base? How far out? Was it 2 months, 3 months, 6 months?
I want to say we started hinting at it like 3 months in advance, and then started dropping more concrete, like what we're doing, like 2 months in advance. And then about a month in advance, we were like, yeah, this is it. These are previews. This is what we're doing. But definitely we were getting signups on our pre-launch page like 3 months ago, 3 months before launching, you know.
Okay, that's fair. The other question is, did you make it clear to them that you're editing the book, or you and your partner editing the book, and that you guys are the taste masters, basically? Like, you know, you are establishing the taste for this book. Like, you've already done a few anthologies, right? And if they can trust you for the anthologies, they can trust you on this.
Yeah, I don't know if I made that explicitly clear. I think in letting people know that we have published this separately as black and white, you know, single chapters over the last 6 anthologies, maybe I might have thought that was like
Enough.
implied, you know, and I don't think I necessarily thought about whether or not I explicitly stated it.
Right. Okay.
So that answers the one. My question was going to be: did you tell your audience how you felt about it being a publisher, like you've just told us,
Right.
whether it's video or email?
So maybe like my question is really oh, how embarrassing.
Does anybody else have any other questions, Sam?
I think for me, when I was listening to you give feedback to David, there was a level of confidence that came out. But when I'm hearing you talk about this, there's a level of hesitation or apprehension. So why the difference?
Well, I think because the advice that I was giving David is something I've done many times, and so it was tried and true. Whereas this is my first go riding this type of bull at the rodeo, you know, not my first rodeo, but my first go with this type of bull, you know,
riding someone else's bull.
Yeah.
I'm riding someone else's bull at this rodeo, you know.
We raised this one,
and it is champing at the bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that your excitement that you have clearly about the other projects and what has happened here before with this, because you, to JD's point, you've published this before. You clearly believe that this fits in the taste of your stuff. You know, I would flip that and
is there a question in this?
We're still doing questions.
Well, I just want to make sure, because there might be a few more floating around. I have a couple actually.
Okay, yeah, go for
it.
Yeah.
Do you have one though? Before I
Well, the main thing is like that's I guess it's that same deal. Like, has it waned, like the excitement for it, or do you not want to be like the to me, that's the difference between I did this art show and I curated this art show. So I'm excited to bring you these artists. I'm really excited to bring you the first compilation of a series from our anthology. And then it's also a way to pick, well, I'm good at solving it. But, you know, so that, like, does that not tickle that same excitement, or is it just because you're an artist and you're like, I would rather I had drawn or wrote this?
No, I think I'm really excited about it. I think my confidence is just a little shaken because we're halfway through the campaign and we're not halfway funded yet. And that's not usually where we're at halfway through a campaign, you know. So I don't think it's my excitement for the project that's waning. I think it's just my confidence.
Have you? All right. So you said this is a rehash, but recolored. It's a collected of things that people already could technically have, correct?
Sure. Yeah.
But it's just coloring. Is there anything else in this graphic novel that's new that could bring is there like an additional story, additional 8 pages, additional art, additional something? What makes this more special than just color?
Well, I mean, we definitely talked about having stretch goals where we were going to add to it, but suddenly it's looking like we might be lucky to reach our funding goal, which is not where we thought we would be at this point, you know. So yeah, I mean, we could just pop out with some we're gonna have some extras. We do actually have some exclusive add-ons and higher tier rewards that are not available outside of this campaign. Specifically, one is a zine that is basically created as if one of the characters in the book, who's kind of like a paranoid conspiracy theorist but is right about this one thing, put together this zine, so it's like you can get his zine on how to protect yourself from psychics, you know, stealing your secrets. So
JD, your secret's out, man. He's got you.
uh-oh.
Did you do a variant cover, like with your own art?
Shit. I did not. Maybe I should. There's still time. I could pop out a variant cover and make it an add-on and maybe an included digital
Pocket reward.
It's not a bad idea.
I could have sworn we still had questions though.
Well, yeah, it was kind of like it was a kind of a sneaky question.
Yeah, that was like an answer in the question.
Definitely an answer, sir.
Yeah.
Definitely an answer.
Yeah, I think we're into, so now, unless anybody else has some, I think this is pretty straightforward at this point. So David, you were champing at the bit for your
And I just know what that term is. I don't really understand like the difference between chomping at the bit and champing at the bit, other than having read that it's champing like you're the champion horse. I don't know, like you're in a horse race, you're not chewing it. But
I think it's also like location based.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, but I know that that's the proper way to go. That's the depth of my knowledge on champing at the bit. But the idea too that and it's tough. Like you're at that point where it's the halfway point, and you're about halfway. You're just under halfway funded. Is that what you're looking at? So like that's where if you've already tapped into the resources, we're looking to open up a new opportunity for it. So I guess I understand now where that, you're used to these cadence, we hit these marks and we, go this far for it. Have the people that have written the book are the ones that are they helping promote this too? And this is their first launch. They clearly haven't launched anything themselves. Do they have the audience and have you marketed that to them? I guess this is still a question. Another question came up. Nice. I had answers for the first ones and questions.
It happens. It happens.
It happens.
So, I mean, the writer is definitely doing his best to promote it, but he's never done a Kickstarter before, and so, he's been involved in a few of our Kickstarters. All right, somebody's gonna have to Google this. Okay, we got to lay this to bed.
Apparently, JD's sister-in-law has.
Yeah, I think Lorraine has done it. So
chomping
again, I think it's probably also like a regional dialect.
Right.
Yeah, I think it started off as champing, and then it became like what do you call it? What's the word where you
how ain't isn't a word now?
Idiom. There's it's like a egg bird or something.
I don't know.
Anyway,
it's probably the difference between car and car. So
or milk and mulk.
The original grammatically correct term is champing, but has since transitioned to chomping because most people don't know what champing means. It's not a word that we use in common parlance anymore.
Yeah,
and it just means to bite down on the bit, on the bridle of things. So that's, I mean, it's literally like chomping, like we have for the idea of you're eating something. But that's literally
it's just
champing at the bit.
Evolution of an idiom,
probably.
As the evolution of this conversation has gone that way.
Sorry.
Really
hung on to that.
Wait, did you have a question? Did I answer it? I don't know.
Yeah, so
totally
the other thing I would say is I would, if you haven't gone like full force like you're doing right now with, hey, how are they marketing? I would sit down and have a session with them, look at their list, write something for their list with them, write down with them, like aggressively go after every single person that they thought was interested. If we haven't reached out individually to literally every single person that they know, that they think might be interested, literally go down that. When you do that thing that, Tyler talked about where it's like, just go down every day, 10 Once you get 10, get to 100 people, get to literally every contact you've ever contacted.
That's
said,
really the
hey,
thing. Because like a
just-
lot of times people think marketing is like putting a link on Facebook, and it is not. You put a link on Facebook, maybe 2 people see it. Facebook
Maybe.
hates external links, especially to sites where you can buy stuff. If you're not paying for that link to be seen, people are not seeing it, other than your bestie.
Even then,
And your bestie already knows about your Kickstarter. You know, like, yeah, you got to really write to people directly and be like, hey, can I tell you about this thing I'm doing that I'm really excited about?
Yeah.
So-
Wait
I'm
the
just saying
first
yes.
time around,
And then
like,
tell them, you know?
Have you done that with them though? Like all your other collaborators that are on this project? Because you have like 4 people that are working on this project with you, or how many people are
Well,
involved? With
so
it?
there's the writer, there's the illustrator, and then there's the colorist. Now, the original illustrator, penciler and inker, and the colorist are both, they're more in like a work for hire situation, and they've already got their pays. So I'm not sure how incentivized they are to really champion the Kickstarter. Whereas the writer, like, he's got to make that money back and wants to have his book printed.
I mean, you could
He's
always
already invested quite a lot of money into this series. So
but you could always put it as, I mean, if he's going to make more, like, he's going to come back to them for more. So, like, the incentive there is you get more work if you help this, or it's also your portfolio. If you're proud of your work, promote that shit.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what their followings are like necessarily. Like, I know I've definitely seen a few posts from the colorist Henry, and he's got a little bit of a following. He's an awesome person, super supportive. I mean, he would share it even if there was nothing in it for him. But again, I think it's a matter of Lindsay and I are really the ones who have done the Kickstarters and done the publishing, and everyone else here is pretty green.
I mean, that
So
works.
yeah, it might be worth really just reiterating, coaching them through it.
Well, but I mean, even to your point, though, if you're the face of it, you and Lindsay, that's the same as like with Tyler in Comics Tribe, right? He barely puts out his own stuff anymore. Like he's the one who's promoting, like, Joe Mulvey's not doing it. Like, yeah, he might do a couple drawings, maybe show up on a live stream, but he's not actively out there going, yes, I did this, he might share it a couple times. But I primarily see Tyler out there running his ads, and
he's the Stan Lee.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of like where you got to be, right? You got to be out there. You got to be as much as you do for yourself. You have to do it the same for this, but you have to say, hey, I'm publishing this. I believe in this. This is why I love this. Tell us what you love about it. Like, I don't even know what the story's about. You know what I mean? Tell us what you love.
Well, it's a really interesting and unique story. It takes place in a world, pretty much like Earth, except like randomly people start developing psychic powers, and it's addictive and it feels really good to use it. In time, they start to realize, like, when you're reading someone's thoughts, like, you kind of get off on it a little. Like, it feels good. It's like a high, and it's really addictive. The more you do it, the more you want to do it. And the problem is, like, they find out it starts to mess up your brain. Like, it's bad for your health, like, it has side effects. And also, as you can imagine, like, random people start developing telepathy. Some of them are not good people. Some of them are really corrupt individuals that would do really bad things with it.
No, someone doing bad things with power.
You know what I mean? So, like, there's all these different factions and groups that are forming, and people who are against it and people who are using it. And it's like, I guess, I kind of just came up with the term psych punk because that's how it feels, like, it's like what cyberpunk is to, like, technology, like, this is to telepathy, and it's just a really cool world building. It's really cool character development. The art is freaking gorgeous. Like, we've got I think we have the first 8 pages colored on the Kickstarter as a preview, and you could see like it's stunning art, you know.
See, so that's my point though. Like, see how easily you're like able to talk about this like it was your own book. You're able to like rattle that up.
I'm invested.
You need to get on your live streams. You need to get on not just your usuals, but like go live with like the author or go live with yourself, just promoting it like you would on any other show. Like, that's how you do, it's, you know, the game, man. It's not much different. It's just,
Yeah, I guess maybe it's like also a little bit of like, I don't know, imposter syndrome, like taking credit for someone else's work. You know what I mean? Like,
well, like I said, you saw that variant cover, man. You got your name on that book for some.
That's a great way to get around that, but also like you are wearing a different hat. Did Stan Lee have imposter syndrome? Maybe. Could anyone ever tell? No, because he was excited about slinging that stuff for everybody. Like, you know what I mean? But like, this is not just anybody. It's literally stuff you've published before. You should be so excited about the idea, not only of this project, but who's it's going to inspire to get in your next anthology, so that you can be in the next one, so that you can actually launch the whole book series. Yeah. What next story coming out of your next anthology is going to have this? And if people are interested in saying, hey, I'd love a way for someone to actually publish my book. Look, we're actually doing this for somebody who would want to be in the next anthology. Maybe that's an unlocked tier where it's like, oh, we can like get your portfolio. It gives you, I don't know, whatever, that you could get access into to have something published in the next anthology for it, and see if that could possibly be the next thing. Like, how do you build that work or mentor people on how to do that? To me, you got a wealth of knowledge there, but like that's the change. And I totally get it. Cause like the idea of like, okay, if I was, the band, and I was putting on a show with other bands, like I wouldn't bring in bands that I didn't care about. Or if I was doing an art show and it's like, this isn't my art, this artist is outstanding. You know what I mean? I've like, this one caught me so much that I'm putting my time into it. And that's where you get hyped up about it. Like, that's where, to me, I'm so excited about Metal Lord because my son was like the music producer. It's like he's like 15 and 16 years old when he produced many of these songs. I'm like, this is like professional sounding stuff. And I took them to actual professional musicians and we studied that stuff. And I'm like, and they're like, this sounds professional. Like he's developed an ear already. This is how we level up. So we worked on that together. But the idea of me and him getting to do this is exciting. So the idea of that you're able to help bring somebody else's work to that, like if the other people didn't feel that excited about it, like, let's think about who's next, that's going to come under your imprint. What are other people you're going to take under your imprint, and how would you get excited about that?
Yeah, and I mean, for sure, like we've got a few repeat submitters to our anthologies, and this is going to really encourage them. Hopefully, it'll also encourage other people. But also, that the mentorship thing's got me thinking, like maybe as an add-on, I could like offer like 1, 3, or 5 like 1 hour, direct conversation mentorship. Like, hey, I'll get on a freaking Zoom call with you and walk you through it.
Yeah, I do that. I have it too. It's like I charge $250 for consulting for like, Kickstarter and your book and stuff like that.
Is that how much I'm getting paid for this?
No. But I mean, like that's I have that on my campaign
on your Kickstarter.
Yeah. So if you go to one of mine, you can see it. Just copy and paste the text and just change it, whatever. That's
not a bad idea.
Something that like you can do with your services. It doesn't have to be comic related all the time, but that's something you could add to this campaign now and promote it.
Yeah, I could unlock it halfway through the campaign. Hey, we're at the 15-day mark. Sweet. Sure.
Sam, do you have anything for Jayel? Mute. You're on mute.
You're on mute. Sam, you're on mute.
I'm saying I heard you. It's like my wife. Go pick up the pot. Pick up the pot. No, I think that same level of excitement that you have for your previous project needs to come through on this project. I think because of your apprehension and your fear, I think the things that made you successful before are making you apprehensive because you're not sure if it's going to work. Because I think you said it best, is that imposter syndrome, whatever it is. I said, but you've already I was looking at your pages. You've created a following. You just got to remind them of that this is the next iteration and that next evolution of what you're doing with your business. And one of the things I use on BackerKit is they give you everyone who's backed all of your campaigns.
Yeah,
I send individual emails, personal emails to those individuals one at a time, and I will tailor it for them. And I will mention the books that they've picked up, when they've and how important it is for them to come back. And then I said, if you come back, I have something special for you, whatever. And I try to make it personal, because we do these blanket emails. And I can tell you right now, because of all the campaigns I get hundreds of launch notices and all that stuff, and I don't go through half that stuff. Yeah. But what I get a bigger return on my investment when I'm tailoring my communication to the individual, right? Because I'm bringing up things that only they know. I know which cover they picked up. I know when they came in, because sometimes they don't even come for all of, like I've had 7 issues of Designated My Toilet, but they'll come in for issues 1 and 2, but I won't see them again till issue 5, and they'll get the back issues, right? So, life happens, and then this, they go on, and then they're reminded, right? So sometimes we have to remind them because we assume they're going to come back. But I think if you just you tailor that relationship, and you remind them that it's still your project, it's still your baby, but it's a different iteration, it's an evolution of what you're doing with your business as a broader scale. I think it'll remind them to come back. I think that's the confidence has to shine through in what you do, because every time we try something new, there's always that apprehension. Every time I draw a new picture, I'm like, or a page, and I'm going to post it, I'm like, oh, what are people going to think, right? What are they going to say? We all have that, right? But you got to keep on reminding them of why they were attracted to your work in the first place.
Yeah. Yeah, it does sound like a lot of work. Like, I don't know.
It is. It is.
Well,
I'm on my 24th campaign, which isn't a lot, but multiply that by like an average of at least 100 backers per campaign. That's a lot of emails to tailor,
Yeah.
But the good thing about it tells you who hasn't backed. And then you can just tailor it to the individuals who have not come back.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, I missed you last time, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's like, making it special.
And that doesn't have to be like, also, like, you could sprinkle that too. You don't have to do that all at once. Like, just, and that kind of would help. Like, if you haven't had a backer,
10 a day or something
here and there. Yeah.
Well, and also when you're feeling that, like, a little hopelessness, like when you're stuck in that thing and you're like, oh, what's going to happen? That's the one I found just in general in life. The thing that you can do positively is whenever you feel like hopeless, do something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if you're like, oh, that's a lot of work to email every single person. But when you said that, I was like, that's what I did on that project that I had before that was successful, is I literally reached out to each person individually and replied back. And I didn't even I sent off like a blanket one, but then I sent off messages to literally every single person uniquely with that, because I genuinely was trying to tell myself I care about this message to this person. And I gave that energy out that I care about this project that much. I'm sending off this thing because that really would mean a lot if you did that. And obviously a part of that was blanket that I copied and pasted, but then I would make something unique for it.
Even just tailoring.
Make sure you do that when you're not tired. Like, don't do it at the end of the day. Make sure you're fresh. You've had a cup of coffee, because you could mess that up pretty bad.
Not too early in the day, not too late in the day.
Yeah. You got to have that caffeine.
Got to find that sweet spot.
Yeah. The only thing I have to add to this is think of someone like Mike Richardson from Dark Horse, right? Mike Richardson, longtime publisher of Dark Horse Comics. Perhaps for myself, the best independent comic book publisher out there. Forget Image, forget all these other companies. I would pick Dark Horse over all of them. And this is a man who's worked with Frank Miller, John Byrne, I mean, you name it, he's probably worked with them. You understand? And he's not going to sit there and tell you, "Oh yeah, I got imposter syndrome." Don't ever worry about that. You're going to set that trend. You're going to set that style, right? So, and I think, you're going to make the right decisions. You're going to make the right decisions for you and your fan base. Just keep producing the great work you've been producing, and I think everyone will follow along eventually. I think that's really what you have to do. So.
I mean, I think the only time that would even affect me is if it's something I'm not conscious of.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't think until actually when David was asking me about whether or not my motivation had waned, I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that maybe I was feeling weird bragging about or, showing off work that isn't mine.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even think it occurred to me,
Right. Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, I mean, Jayel, did we help?
Yeah, absolutely. I've got a bunch of ideas that I'm going to go implement.
All right. Nice.
Do it now.
Well, maybe after the show.
Yeah,
do it after.
All right. That wins. That wins.
So, Sam, what's your question, man?
The question that I sent you. Let's see. Hold on. Pulling it up. Where I put my question. My question was, I want to say exactly how I wrote it. Why should your story be a comic and not a movie, a prose, or anything else?
Okay. All right. What's funny is Rob had said that sounded more personal to you, so I rephrased it so it sounds more like a question for all of us. Damn it, where is this thing?
How do you know if?
It sounds like a question for JD's other show.
Well, the question is, how can a creator get his IP into those other spaces, right? So just to add that on, like how can all of us, or obviously Sam, get these other, get his IP into other spaces, right?
Does that work for you, Sam?
Whatever works. I didn't know the structure of the questions. I just came up with a question.
I feel like that's a JD failure.
Sorry, this is. Yeah.
He's like, wrong show.
Wrong show. I was like, all right.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's Sunday nights.
Yeah. Were you just on his show?
No.
So have you explored trying to present your stuff and pitching it to agents?
Yes, that's how I started in the game. So early on, back in the days when Moses parted the Red Sea and he didn't warn me and I got my hair wet and I was still a little mad because my gel went all over the place. But back in the days, when I first launched Crazy Comics, which was I was a small press publisher, I invested in going to licensing expo at the Javits Center. That was back in the early 2000s. And I was picked up by a management company, same management company that represents Robert Kirkman. So we were picked up at the same time. We were at the same after party. But he took off and I'm still doing this, right? So, but at that time, I've had a lot of interest from Disney, from the Nickelodeon, and Kids WB. And so we were in negotiations at that time. And we got lucky. So I spent a lot of money. Licensing expo is not cheap. It's like putting a down payment on a house. We got a booth. I created my own. That's when we had Flash animation. I created my own animated short, right? Flash. And with the whole bit. And next, we had all this interest. At that time, it was easier to get your stuff picked up than it is today, right? And today, you are required to have a certain amount of buyers, subscribers, followers, all this stuff, and you need to have a specific unit sell-through count. They're looking at how many units you've sold, how many people follow you before they pick it up, unless you run into somebody and you got lucky. So back then it was easier, and then everything fell through. So Kids WB changed hands. It was February of, I think it was 2008, when I got Circle of Confusion was a management company. They're like, Kids WB. They're dropping Kids WB, Warner Brothers, and so I forgot her name. She was the vice president of acquisitions. She's no longer with them. They changed leadership too, and then same thing happened with Disney. So everything was changing hands. So everything that was on the table was dropped, and my project was on the table, and so I had that first introduction to it. So I left the game for years because at that time I was spending a lot of money. I was doing about 27 conventions around the U.S. a year. I was self-funding everything. It was crazy. And so after that, I was like, I'm done. I got to go. I can't do this anymore. It's just killing the bank, and it's putting a damper in my family. So I left the game for 10 years. I decided to come back during COVID. Smart, right? So I come back in COVID. And when everybody and their mothers wanted to try their hand at comics because they got nothing to do because they're stuck at home, right? So now they're flooding the markets. And I decided, and normally I don't do this, I usually do my research. I decided to try my hand at Licensing Expo again. I rebranded everything. I built my stuff, whatever, and I did it in Vegas. I go out there and I had meeting after meeting after meeting. And the first thing out of everybody's mouth from every company was, your product is marketable, but how many followers do you have on social media? How many units have you sold on your own? How many? All US. Internationals were like, we're ready to sign you now, but I don't have the capital to start protecting my stuff internationally. So I wanted to start domestically and let the big boys pay for all that stuff and secure that for, it's risky when you go international because I don't know the laws, I don't know the rules, and none of that stuff. So, but all of the foreign interests they're ready to run, but all the domestic expected you to do all the homework before they invested because they weren't willing to take a chance like they were decades ago. So the red thread is they felt it was marketable. They felt there was appeal to it, but the problem was with my capabilities, my scope is limited. And so as long as I'm at that stage, I'm at a disadvantage to game.
So when they say you've done research on like what you're putting yourself up liability wise, and you know enough to know that you don't feel comfortable doing that.
No, because they'll steal your stuff in a heartbeat.
Right, and then you don't have any of those companies that are trustworthy that would have
internationally. No, I mean because then you have to pay for an attorney. Right, that knows international licensing, right? You have to all that stuff. So, and
other countries don't always abide by other countries' rules,
right?
anyways. They're
at all. Yeah, so you're at a disadvantage. So I'd rather be homegrown and knowing the limits and knowing that I have a foundation than to try because I'm desperate and I want to get my stuff out there at the risk of losing it completely.
So for clarification, your original hot topic was how do you know, and I'm, paraphrasing, how do you know if your IP should be a comic or prose or animation or other, right?
Right.
So, and now we're talking about trying to make deals with all these, big shots that are, have great expectations because there's already a huge makers market where people are already developing their audiences and come with an audience and with a following. Do you feel like you already have a developed audience or following that you're growing, or are you not even looking at that yet?
No, I'm still working on that. So because I've only been back since 2019,
right?
And then I moved to Texas. I've been in Texas for 4 years. So I'm trying to build an audience in Texas. I have a good following out here that I've built. I have a good support system. I have a lot of LCSs that invite me consistently to do book signings because I've met them at shows and they've seen the appeal that I have at the shows. So I'm building it. So I'm rebranding myself and rebuilding it. Back then, there was a spark back then in the early ages because I was doing that image time.
In the dark ages?
Yes. Everyone was looking for the newest things, right? And so here now, the competition's thick and there's a lot of stuff in the market. And the big boys want a foolproof system, right? They want
They
something
want the
that's gonna
hottest thing.
they
not
want
the
something that's gonna
newest
make
thing.
them money.
They want
right?
something they can throw a little bit of money at and get a
Yes.
lot of money back.
Yes, that courage that they had back then to take a chance on something that they felt like was going to make a dent in the market. That doesn't exist anymore, right? And so I think now I'm just at the stage of building it back up. I've only been on Kickstarter a couple of years, and I'm trying to build that audience. Kickstarter is still foreign to me because I will do more in a day at a convention than I do an entire 30 days on a Kickstarter, right? So I was like, so I don't, but they don't translate. I can't. I've only gotten about 8% of the people at my conventions to go over to Kickstarter. They won't translate. They want it now. And they'll wait. I have people in Texas that'll just wait to my next show because I do about 12 in Texas a year. They'll wait to the next show to get the next thing because they know that I'm producing 3 to 4 issues a year. So they know,
People
well,
will
I'll
wait
see
a
you at the
few
next
years,
time.
too. Yeah, like
I mean,
not
yeah.
even just the next con. Like I haven't been to Boston in like 3 years, but even before the last time I was in Boston was like 3 years before that. And people will just every time I'm there, they'll pick up the latest ones. So it's weird.
Yeah.
Like they will actually wait a number of years and then be like, "Oh, you're finally back."
There
Yeah.
are some people that are just con people and some people that are just Kickstarter people. There's a lot of crossover, but some people are like, no, I want to go in person, see the person, buy the thing in person, walk away with it in person. And some people are like, I don't want to fucking see people. I just want to throw my credit card at the internet and get something in my mailbox, like.
Yeah.
But
And
that's
those two people
there
are
audience
never
in
going to
each place.
see the same person,
Yeah. Like I'm going to College Station Comic Con in 2 weeks, and I have a hardcore group of students out there that they'll wait to the next year for me to show up with the next titles and the next but they won't go on Kickstarter, they won't go on my website, they won't do any of that stuff. They'll follow me, they follow my art channel, right? And they'll engage me on my art channel, but outside of that, they'll wait till I show up.
It's just a preference thing.
Well, and I think that's important to have both those because you want that market. Clearly, that's part of you position this up. I think the bigger existential question that you have, like, what is this for? Like, you're the creator.
Yeah.
Like, are you saying that this should be, when you say, should this be a movie or should this be a comic book or should this be writing, just written? Like, what do you want? Because I don't know if you know this, cameras are in your phone are really good. If you really want to make it a TV show, film it.
Yeah, no. I mean,
cast the people, find the people, like, do your thing. If you want this sold as a TV show, start doing it. Like, the other part is, it sounds like what you have with it is that question for, and Rob, you might know some more of this too, or maybe you've not seen, but the landscape of like music and how do you market music, like that sounds exactly like if you're like, oh, I want a record deal. Like you either have very small record labels that will not provide that much value and take a good portion of whatever small earnings you make, and they'll just do it for a bunch of people. Or you will have big record companies that will expect you to drive a whole audience and make sure that you're a magnetic, captivating, artist, and then capitalize on that, and then let you be like still work it and still take all the money.
Well, the other problem with that,
yourself.
Yeah, the other problem with that is like the music industry is cutthroat because like you're signing a contract basically saying like you have to pay back everything that they put into you before you see a dime, and this is terrible. I don't know if you guys remember the band Hoobastank. They were actually booked to play a show in downtown Sharon, which is like the town over from me, and their bus got repoed because they were so far in debt. And like they had hits, just saying.
And that's where a lot of artists, like that's depends on what you want it to be. Sam, what do you want that to be? Because like the comic books are dope. Like I could see when Tav came up with the idea, he's like, oh, I want a kid that plays guitar and it powers a mech. I'm like, oh, that's a cool idea. Okay, so what happens? And then he's like, and then it turns into like a suit, and it's like, I'm like, so like Power Rangers, and he's like, yeah, kind of. I'm like, hold on, I got this is what I got. Aliens are invading. They're coming down. You got this mech spearheading it. Then you have this whole alien invasion falling behind. You got a kid that's a loser, and he's like starts shredding on guitar so hard he's trying to bring meaning to his existence. He wants to conquer the world with metal music. He starts shredding so hard he becomes a skeleton, and he bonds with a mech like Voltron and like saves the world. Everyone hears his music, and like he's the hero. He's the savior of the whole world. And then the tagline is, "All I ever wanted was a band, but this is a story how I saved the world with my guitar." And then he's got a quest then to still get a band because that's what he wanted in the whole place. Like that could be a cool adult movie, but like look at how much anime, comic books, and come from animes and animated films come from manga and comic books. They translate oftentimes really well. Like the storyboarding that you do for a movie, it's almost equivalent to like a comic book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you're willing to do that work and you have a compelling enough story, like, is it getting your artistic vision out? What do you want?
So are we past clarification questions?
Well, I want to know what he wants. Like, I want to know
Okay.
what.
Yeah,
what
I just
you
want to make sure because I have thoughts, but I don't want to.
Well, I don't think Sam actually had an issue. I think it just became a question that was.
Oh, he's
open.
just throwing out a
It was
question.
a question.
Oh.
Yeah. But I was gonna quote a famous man that said when he says, "What do you want?" It's like the world, Chico, and everything in it.
I thought you had this deep existential like thing, like
No, I didn't know the framework of the show, and so
Okay.
when he says, "Hey, you have a topic," I was like, "Yeah, sure," boom, right, and
Got
I was like,
Okay.
so that was what it was.
Okay.
I know what I want. I think we all want the same things, just for our product to be successful, and that's really what it is. I just want readers. I want tons and tons and tons of readers.
Well, that makes sense then. All right. Sorry, I was trying to draw it out. I'm like, what?
I mean, that's what. Honestly, though,
I
the
just want
conversation
someone comic books,
became
man.
so like there was so much good information coming from
Yes.
Sam and like David had like it's. I'm just like you know what I'm just.
It was awesome. Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I'm in therapy right now."
The existential crisis is JD not explaining the show.
Listen, we had 22 episodes. Could have watched any one of them.
So I think we need to turn clarification questions to JD.
Yeah, pretty much.
When you invite people onto the show, have you explained to them how the show
Never,
works?
not once.
That was.
I expect him to watch a prior episode.
I did watch the
There you
majority
go.
of one.
See, David did the homework.
I watched the other
I've been in
show.
a prior episode. Does that count?
Yes.
I think I figured it out
there
that
you go.
time around.
That's fair enough.
Yes.
You know. And I could have sworn I gave you something on it.
Negative. Absolutely not.
I don't know. I'm sure it's in the DM
Fake
somewhere.
news.
I'm
Fake
sure
news.
it's in the DM somewhere. I'm sure I can dig up a receipt somewhere. It's okay.
I think this is the most like I've seen in the chat with somebody say lies or liars. And you got Jorge saying lies. You got Lorraine saying lies.
Well, look, we are comic book creators, and we are a group of guys, so it's to be expected, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
There's no beer.
Who is supposed to bring the beer?
JD.
JD, you're
Drop
letting
the
us
ball
down.
again. Drop the
Brought it, but I got weak sauce beer.
You just need ice cream.
Is that root beer?
Yeah, it's root beer.
Nice.
a sarsaparilla.
One of the best beers.
I really like it.
I like a good ginger beer.
Yeah.
The ginger beers are. I thought that would be great, and then I had it, and I was like, "That is sharp. That is
Oh, I love it.
very ginger."
Yeah. I love.
Sometimes I get the extra ginger beer.
Whew.
I love it.
When you're not expecting it, that's a lot.
I love it. That's great.
I do have a question, because of the question that Rob you asked me earlier. It's like when I plan on launching, right?
Yeah.
And I was up in the air because I really am trying to get to 100 signups before I launch. That's basically that's my goal, right?
Okay.
So that's why I'm up in the air. If it comes earlier, then I'll launch early. If it comes later, I'll launch later. But what's a good lead time to launch a campaign?
I think I mean, are we just answering this one? Because I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure.
I just think we should just straight up answer that.
Yeah.
So honestly,
Pretty quick.
I think that depends on you and how ready you are and how much you've gotten your audience ready. For me, like I've had the Snowpaw page up for months because I've been waiting on Mog to finish the book. And I mean, at this point, like we're so far behind, it's almost been a year since you had the script. So that to me is too long, but I do have over 200 followers to the page right now, and I barely did anything.
Right.
However, what I usually do is a monthly way, and I'm promoting it the entire month,
right,
getting it up there. So I think it depends on how much time and effort you want to put into it. Again, your audience is going to come when you tell them to come. So if you're going to say, hey, we're officially going to launch on this day, make sure you keep hitting that date.
Right.
I wouldn't wait until the last minute. Like if you hit 100 people and it's like the September date and like it's the next day, don't do that.
Right.
Because you want to give them time to like come and know that that's the date. So yeah, I would say like you definitely, if you know within a week, that's a good kind of headway to been like, all right, we're going live next week, and then remind them every day.
Right.
All right, cool. Sam, did that help?
Word.
Just a little bit.
A little bit. This works.
A little bit. All right. So
At
listen.
least you got something out of it.
There you go. There you go. Now, before anything else, we got to talk about Metal Lord, all right? Because everybody gets a couple minutes to promote their stuff real quick.
Metal Lord is the culmination of the last 5 years of storytelling with my son, like just coming up with idea. Like I just mentioned, he was a kid. I thought he had watched Iron Giant and before we had this, but he swears it wasn't from that. But the idea of some kid shredding on a guitar, awakening this mech, and I just loved that idea. Like I was a big fan of Transformers and Voltron back in the day, and my son really loves getting on the nostalgia of me. Like he likes that. He likes the excitement of
our stuff is so much better than what's out now.
Right. Well, there's just something that really captivates him about that. Like there's something unique. So as I mentioned before, there's an alien invasion, an invading mech. It's the will of this kid bonding with that mech, flings out the alien like he's a booger stuck on a finger, flicks him into the ocean, and then is able to pilot this mech and save the world after being quickly shown to just be a loser on almost every front of normal society, but have this exceptional skill, an exceptional gift of just being able to shred on guitar. Just people didn't care. And I think a lot of people can relate to the idea of having what they feel is an exceptional gift that isn't recognized for it. So that to me was a really neat thing to tap into for it. And then it's set up, to me, it was a great setup for kind of the shonen style storytelling where you have the antagonist as a main component. And then it leads it into an ongoing kind of kaiju battle. So after this, the rip and portal that we have for it ends up having monsters keep falling in, and he has to continue to save the world with this mech. Over the course of this time, he's able to, is trying to procure all of his bandmates and to create the band that he always wanted. And in classic shonen fashion, there's only one vocalist that he could have, and it's the alien that was originally piloting the mech. So they have to eventually team up to get that. But there's a lot of lightheartedness, a lot of references in our music, along with that to things like Strong Bad and Always Sunny in Philadelphia. We like wearing my Trogdor shirt right now. Like it's really fun to play with him on trying to make each other laugh. I know I was watching the documentary on the Ninja Turtles and how Eastman and Laird were trying to make each other laugh, drawing turtles as ninjas. You know, the idea that you have a slow animal. So it's really fun to play with them and script this out. We have the entire script for the whole first arc done. So it's been an awesome learning lesson too for this project for him, because we've used it for school as well, because we homeschool. But like I said, his music production's so amazing. I've been practicing guitar so much to try to be able to perform this stuff live with him. So we're not only got the comic book, but we're gonna get it enough to get albums pressed. So I'd love to get a special edition of vinyl for this album, and just really stoked to share it with folks and what he's been able to make. Those songs, a lot of the songs that we ended up using were stuff that I wrote when I was his age. So I'd been in a couple punk bands when I was a kid, but I played guitar my whole life. So I'd always had these riffs and stuff in my head. And every time I pick it up, I'd play along. And when we started talking about the story, I had the A to Z Baby Animals going. I'm like, Tav, as soon as this is done, we can work on that project. But at night, I'd play guitar and he'd come up with just lyrics or just tell stories. He loves just running around telling stories, still does. And he's like, Dad, that song would be perfect for Metal Lord. Can we use it? I was like, yes. Like, clearly that's why I wrote this, because I've played it my whole life and I've had nothing for it. So it's really fun to have this intergenerational project with the music coming together with this story that's really fun and delightful. So I'm really stoked to bring it to the world.
Cool. When do you plan on launching?
It's going to launch this Saturday. So that's the 30th, I believe. It's the beginning of Long Beach Comic-Con, and it's going to end on Sunday, on September 28th, at the end of LA Comic-Con. So I have it bookmarked between those two cons. It's going to kick it off, and so they have time in between there. We've got a ton of really awesome special event stuff that's going on for people that are coming and backing the campaign. Going to do drawings for those individuals, like I had mentioned, live at the cons, and really excited to bring this to them.
Cool. Nice. So go sign up, everybody. Looks good, and you got hot cat girls. You know,
yeah, absolutely. The bassist is a hot cat girl. The drummer is literally his name is Death Leopard, and because I didn't get his Death Leopard, but in one of the scenes, spoiler alert, he loses an arm. So I don't know, for folks that know Death Leopard, that may echo something.
Yeah, just a little bit. All right. Well, now we got a Bloom. All right. So, Jayel, what are we looking at?
All right. So this is the cover of Bloom Squad, illustrated by Henry Jerome. He's the colorist. You'll notice if we scroll down, the interior art is in a slightly different style. It's colored the same way, but this is drawn by Marcelo Salazar and colored by Henry Jerome. And this is the first 8 pages, I believe I have on here. There is a video. I know we're probably not going to watch the video on a show, but I do encourage everyone to go check out the video and stick around for the bloopers. We always put bloopers at the end. It's our favorite part. You could see all of our accolades and projects that we've previously launched and maintained backer favorite the whole time, and had, project we love, 16, 17 times in a row, something like that. And, we're a super backer, a backer favorite, a repeat creator, project we love, Kickstarter trusts us. And yeah, the story is really fun. Like I was saying before, it's a very unique story. It's gripping, it's thrilling, it's psych punk, and that's the best way I could describe it. I think people that like weird, like I want to say like Lawnmower Man or Johnny Mnemonic, but without the technology. Try to imagine that. If it was just like telepathy instead. I'm trying to think of other stories that I could compare it to, but other than like, I don't know, like older sci-fi books, like I'm drawing a blank. It's super unique but super fun. It's definitely an action thriller that focuses on character development and inter-character dynamics, and it's got some really fun, fleshed out characters in here. And we have 15 days left to go. We are, for every 10 backers, we're unlocking a new free comic. We're about to unlock our second free comic. We've unlocked Spectrum. We're about to unlock Long Dark Winter, and we'll continue to unlock them the more backers we get. And yeah, there's plenty of add-ons and high-tier rewards on there.
All right, cool. I got one question. I didn't catch it. How many pages is the book? Is the trade?
Let's see. I should know this off the top of my head, but I've got a lot of books floating around in my head, and I think it says it on the page somewhere. It should. God, I hope it does. So there's 52 interior pages.
I see it right there.
And that's not, obviously it's going to be longer. There's going to be, front matter and back matter and cover and interior cover, but it's 52 pages of interior story. All
right, cool. So you got another 15 days. You got a little bit of hustle to, you got to get your hustle on, but, I think you guys can cut it. You've been in the game a minute.
Yeah, we might have to adjust some strategies, and hopefully employing the strategies that we talked about tonight will help that,
All right, cool. Listen, man, best of luck. I don't know. I think you're gonna make it. I don't think you're really gonna. I mean, you're gonna have to hustle, but you're gonna make it. So,
thank you. I appreciate your confidence. It helps. It really does.
All righty. Now we got to get into some forbidden territory. Sam, what are we looking at? What we got?
Forbidden is a mythical survival saga set deep beneath the earth where an ancient race of cursed hunters, the Nocturnals, are banished from the surface by a wrathful force known as Nokron. When one hunter violates sacred ground, the curse ignites. Sunlight becomes lethal, and their civilization of 10,000 collapses overnight. Now only 15 remain buried alive in the caverns, clinging to legend and vengeance. It's Apocalypse Now meets Lord of the Rings with cursed scrolls, savage creepers, and a war that never ends. And this is a 200-page graphic novel, 160 pages of art and story, and 40 pages of storyboards, concept art, character designs, character bios, fan art. It's a whole lot of stuff in there, some behind-the-scenes stuff. The interiors are done by Anibal Arroyo and Primi Santra. The cover was done by Eric Ifata, and the promotional art done by me, and the stories written by me, and lettered by George Medina. This is a passion project. It's all encompassing. It's a start and end. This is not an ongoing series, so this is what you get in this 200-page amazing story, and it's science and it's old world and it's fantasy all mixed up in one. It's modern day age versus old world, and they both clash.
Nice.
All right, cool.
Yeah. So everybody who's picked up issues 1 and 2, because I've only launched issues 1 and 2, and then I paused and I started working on Disney Alien in my toilet, and so I come back with the final product, full color. You come back, I have a free gift for everybody that comes back and picks up the graphic novel. Whether you're a backer of Disney in my toilet, Forbidden, or Catch the Crazies, if you come back for this campaign, you all get a free gift.
Very nice. When you say you're looking to launch, when what you hit 100?
I just launched the landing page on Sunday, so we're up to 27. I'm trying to get to 100, and then I want to launch the campaign.
Okay, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, very nice. Everybody, go help this man get to 100. All righty.
Already following all of your projects.
Thank you.
All righty. Now we got Snowpaw.
Yeah. We're not worthy. We're not worthy.
Like I said, this thing's been up for like months. I mean, the anticipation for this is the final issue of the story arc. And like I said, Mog's had it in her hand since last September. She just finally finished the line art, and the colors is getting finished, and lettering. So we are launching officially a week from tomorrow. We are finally going live. Woo!
Congratulations!
Thank you. It's been a long time in coming. I'm glad to finally get this one to the finish line.
Worth the wait, I'm sure.
Was that Daphne?
That was me. I got a soundboard next to me.
I thought it was Daphne in the background of JD.
No.
Speaking of Daphne, she actually has a cover for this that she had done during the issue 3 campaign.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go.
So yeah, so that's finally coming to life.
Nice.
That's
All right,
amazing.
cool.
Well, it's marinating. It's marinated. It's got all those juices. It's like a roast that's just been, some abuelita has been working on for a year. It's great.
Very nice. No, it's great, man. So you launching what? You said a week from when?
Week from tomorrow.
Week from tomorrow. Okay. Nice.
Yeah, pretty soon you guys will, over the next week or so, y'all will be getting sick of me already.
I don't worry about it. Rob, how is that even possible?
I mean, ask my wife. I do it quite easily.
Gotcha. Well, so September 3rd, you're launching.
September 3rd, yes.
All right, very nice. Everybody, again, follow and, promote and, fund. Very nice. All right, cool.
And remember, I have bloopers at the end of my video, so watch the whole thing.
Yep. All right, real quick, I'm going to throw these up. These are my 2 campaigns that I'm running. So this is Dreamweavers, issues 1 and 2. This is, we got 4 days left. And we've already funded, there's about 4 kids who live in New York City. And whenever they go to sleep, their 4 role-playing game characters come into reality. And their 4 role-playing game characters end up fighting demons because, we have a problem. And the problems are demons. And the demons also happen to be very sexy. So I put them on the covers. So there you go. But that's it. That's running for another 4 days, so you can go check it out. That's in the show notes. And then the last one is, last but certainly not least, is What My I Cannot Tell, issues 1 through 4. This is the Oswald Chronicles. This is a story where Oswald's in dream, and he's telling the story of when he first actually fell in love with his wife, because the marriage is kind of like an arranged marriage, because he takes over an empire, right? Because he's fulfilled some kind of strange prophecy, and they're like, all right, he's finally here. And the prior emperor, who was passing away, passed his powers on to Oswald and as well, and he offered his daughter's hand in marriage in the deal, and Oswald accepted and comes to terms with this and eventually falls in love with her. And this is a story where he falls in love with her and the trials and tribulations of everything they go through. And so that's that. These are some of the covers. These are some of the interior pages. These are black and white. This is illustrated by Jade Gonzalez. My long time, I've been working. She's been putting up with me, I think, for about 14 years now. So go check it out. I think we got another 15 days. So there you go. Thank you so much, everybody. So there it is. All right. So, all right. I hope we helped everyone. Did we? Kind of, sort of, maybe.
Absolutely. No, this was really good.
It was good.
Really good advice for it. I really love the metaphor of the pool of fish. And I would reflect that right back to you. Make sure that you're giving the same advice to yourself that you are. And that's the thing. That's the thing for me too. Like, I know all of us are able to help each other out, but it's like, how do you detach from yourself?
Yeah, you got to get out of your own headspace.
Yep.
Yeah, I think everyone that's watching this sort of stuff, looking for that, you probably heard the answer before, and you'd probably give the right advice to somebody. So, try to listen to yourself.
Thank you.
All right. So we made it to the end. Let's start with David. David, where can we find you and your work, sir?
Yeah, absolutely. If you go to gustavstarr.com, We have all of the comic stuff that we've been launching and working on, but also all the music for it. And then David F. Starr on all and Gustav Starr on all social medias is where they can get tagged for it. We link to our Metalord site as well. That's our band page. It's a cartoon band. So that was, I thought, a great idea because it's like, oh, the gorillas are super dope. We've animated stuff before. This is a really fun idea. And then I remembered once we started trying to make content how long animation takes. It's a really long time, guys. It takes a really long time. It was a terrible idea. I need something else to animate it. So right now they're illustrated music videos, very, very mildly animated at times. But the comic book is really exciting, so we're really excited to share that with you.
Nice.
All right, cool. Jayel, where can we find you in York?
All right. Well, you could find me at jayeldraco.com with links to all my socials there, or oneshipress.com, where you'll find all the projects I've been a part of and working on. That's oneshipress.com. And on the website, we've got opt-ins for our newsletter with all kinds of freebies, and our newsletters do give out a lot of freebies, like pretty regularly. So definitely, it's Dream Fuel. That's the name of our newsletter. It's not just a newsletter, it's Dream Fuel. So check that out. Yeah, I would say go check out oneshipress.com. That's where you'll get links to everything else that we do. Because I have a lot of websites and a lot of socials, and I'm not going to list them all.
You need a link tree.
Yeah, I have a few link trees, and they're all stuff.
I have a few.
We are very much on the internet. If you Google Jayel Draco or Oneshi Press, you'll just get pages of results.
I've heard you need one good link.
You want me to shut up.
One good link, one QR code. Just get one good
oneshipress.com. Here we go.
Very nice. All right, Sam, where can they find you in your work, sir?
Dutiesworld.com. You get all the duty greatness from there. And Catch the Craze, you just put it anywhere with a DA, not a THE. So Catch the Craze, you just type it in and it'll take you to where I'm hiding out. So we have a podcast that's every Tuesday nights with the longest and first independent comic book podcast in the game. Just want to say, founded in 2005. And so yeah, we're actually creeping up to episode number 600. So join us in a couple of weeks for episode 600. It's going to be dope. Yeah, and you find me anywhere on social media there.
All right, cool. Rob, where can they find you?
I mean, you can find me pretty much on any social media platform at Lone Wolf Comics, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Blue Sky, YouTube, whatever. You know, I'm there. I may not be active on all of them, but the three main ones, you know, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You can find me at Rob Multari at those same three places. LoneWolfComics.com. That is my website. I have an online shop there where you can get the back issues. And then snowpod.lonewolfcomics.com is the pretty URL that will take you to that pre-launch page that we will be officially launching next week.
All right, cool. And I'm JD Calderon. You can find me Sunday nights on here on the YouTubes, my show Indie Comics Explained, Facebook, Instagram, all the different places, the OswaldChronicles.com, TallTalesOnline.com, and most importantly on Kickstarter. So go check those out. And please, everybody, just remember, go check out the show notes. In those notes are links to everyone's campaigns or their sign-up pages. So go check those pages out. Click on them. Buy these books. All these creators are really creating great books. So please buy these books and support these creators. Thank you so much, everyone. Have a great night. And remember, read more indie comics, especially ours. Thank you. If I could just find the